First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rikah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone, while unto truth, and also to those elect that scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great, powerful lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And the type of day lesson is news and prophecy, extraordinary events. So I like to say shalom to all I listen and learn. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, I have a few news articles and I have a few videos. But first we'll start here with this news article by the BBC. And it reads that Trump ramps up threats to gain control of Greenland and Panama Canal. Let's get a little bit more. It said President-elect Donald Trump has reiterated his desire for the U.S. to acquire Greenland and the Panama Canal, calling both critical to America's national security. Said asked if he would rule out using military or economic force in order to take over the autonomous Danish territory or the canal. He responded, "No, I can't assure you on either of those two." Said, "But I can say this, we need them for economic security." So he told reporters during a wide-ranging news conference at the Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. Said both Denmark and Panama has rejected any suggestions that they would give up territory. It says here, Trump also vowed to use economic force when asked if he would attempt to annex Canada and call their shared border an artificially drawn line. Said the boundary is the world's largest between two countries, and it was established in treaties dating back to the founding of the U.S. in the late 1700s. Said the president-elect said the U.S. spends billions of dollars protecting Canada, and he criticized imports of Canadian cars, lumber, and dairy products. Said they should be a state, he told reporters. But outgoing Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said there isn't a snowball chance in hell of the two countries merging. So we know that we are very close to Donald Trump inauguration, and he's constantly making all sorts of threats, wrapping up threats to gain control of Greenland and Panama Canal. Also, he was saying about renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. So right now we're seeing that the devil is getting ready to fill his belly, his agenda, his plan. And one thing about it, we already know, I said in another lesson that I feel like DJ Donald Trump will be the NWO president, so we seeing these things coming into play. And also he's saying about this deportation, the first thing that he was going to use the military to remove, so-called illegal migrants or undocumented. So we're going to see how this play out. So we already know right now things are constantly picking up. And also we knowing about the BRIC nation is on the rise. So we already knowing that that Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, he tried to counter that by, to imagine a vain thing. The heathens are raging, but they're raging, but they are imagining something that is not profitable, something that is useless. And one thing about it, we know that we're in this transition of power. So right now we're seeing that this man is running out of time. The Lord is making what Esau bear and bear. So right now we're seeing that DJ Donald Trump is constantly, speaking great words, saying he's going to do this, he's going to do that, he's going to make America great again. So now he's trying to make Canada a state, the 51st state, and Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, saying that that will not ever have a snowball in hell when hell freeze over. But one thing about it, we already knowing that this, what they're trying to put into play, they want this total control. One world government, one world religion, one world currency. This is where all these roads are leading to. And also, that ultimate goal is that grain of rice. It shall go into your right hand or into your forehead. So we seeing that things are getting ready to pick up. 2025, these prophecies are speaking loud and clear in the middle of the Lord. We're constantly warning you, left and right, are all these appended dangers. So right now, even if he gets into office and he tried to pull this off, we already knowing that it already, the EU, which in fact is the European Union, also NATO, has warned DJ Donald Trump about inquiring Greenland, which I think is under control of Denmark, and also the Panama Canal. They already warned him about that. So we know at some point that the EU and NATO is going to turn against America, Babylon the Great, that whore that sits on many waters. So we already know that Revelation chapter 17 is getting ready to become loud and clear. We already know that they shall burn the whore. So we already know right now this is going to cause a lot of conflict between Canada. It's going to cause a lot of conflict between Mexico. So we already know that the United States is in between both of them. So one thing about it, he's constantly making threats. Also, he's constantly making enemies around the world as we speak. In the fullness of his sufficiency. He shall be in straits and all sorts of adversity. We seeing that it's getting ready to happen. The Lord is getting ready to bring this man down. This man is getting ready to cut him. The Lord is getting ready to cut him off. So we're very close, man. We're living in some very exciting time and also a very extraordinary event. So we'll get that in a minute, the meaning of an extraordinary event. So we're seeing right now that what's going on in California. We already know this is like an instant repeat of what happened in Maui, Hawaii. Also what happened in North Carolina, the Tennessee, the Appalachian Mountains. So we already know what this is all about. They're trying to get all these different these land grabs, which in fact, a lot of resources, oil, minerals, so all sorts of what is that? All sorts of resources, oil, things that they can use to build up, and also that's something in the Appalachian Mountain. I can't think of it right now, but it's a very valuable mineral that they want to use, and also over here in Greenland, it's a mineral that they are trying to use to build these super conductors. I can't remember right off. I had to look it back up. But anyway, it's all about resources, oil, and also building up strategically these military bases. So we already knowing that Greenland is in between Russia, and then you got, I think, on the other side, Alaska and Canada. So that'll be a good spot for imports and export, and also a military base. But we already knowing that, hey, we're not ignorant of Satan's device, so we seeing exactly what he's trying to do. But it's going to call every hand of the wicked, all the people that was in allies with him, they're going to turn against him. So now let's get this right here. It's another one I want to get right here. It says here, can Trump actually rename the Gulf of Mexico? Say, here's what he can do and what he can't. Man, wow. You see us here. This man right here, he's, the Donald Trump trying to make America great again. But America will never be great again. This place is getting ready to be a lake of fire. The Lord is getting ready to destroy this place. We cannot wait. President-elect Donald Trump said this week he intends to rename the Gulf of Mexico once he take office. Said, but experts say his power to do so will only take him so far. As president, little is stopping Trump from directing federal agencies to adopt the use of his preferred name for the ocean basin, the Gulf of America. But the formal process of renaming territory both at home and abroad would take greater effort. So this sounds just like Psalm chapter 49 and verse 11. His inward thought that he shall rule forever. And also he said that they call their names after themselves. So, hey, man, the Bible is spot on. Hey, man, we're here. We'll get that in a minute. It says here, it said, we're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which was a beautiful, which has a beautiful ring, that covers a lot of territory. Trump told reporters at his Mar-a-Lago estate on Tuesday, the Gulf of America, what a beautiful name, and it's appropriate. It's appropriate. There is, in fact, a federal agency in charge of maintaining uniform geographic names usage throughout the federal government, called the United States Board of That's all we need to get of that. So we seeing right here that this man is already talking about these different land grabs, trying to change names. Also, he's trying to require Greenland, also Canada, and also it's already rumors that Justin Trudeau had announced that he will resign at the end of his term. We got to wait and measure the time diligently. And also the finance minister of Canada said that if he do that, they were going to put tabs on America also, cut their power off from, I think, from certain parts of these Midwest and also the eastern northeastern states in America. So we seeing right here, man, this man is constantly thinking, imagine a vain thing. Can Trump actually rename the Gulf of Mexico? Say, here's what he can do and what he cannot do. So we already know the Lord is only gonna let him go so far. So he's imagining a vain thing. So let's get this right quick. Let's look up the word extraordinary events before we start today's video. It says here, extraordinary events are unusual, remarkable, and unexpected occurrences. They can be positive or negative. What makes an event extraordinary is subjective. Let's see what else you got here. Example of extraordinary events. Winning the lottery. Witnessing a natural phenomena. A natural disaster. So that's what we're going to say. A personal tragedy. So you pretty much get the picture about these extraordinary events. So this right here said natural disaster or a natural phenomena. So we seeing that a spiritual phenomena is going on. We seeing right now they're talking about these natural disasters, but one thing about it, they're all by design of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. But we already knowing that we seeing that this left hand energy is at work. So also we seeing what's going on in California about these wildfire, so-called wildfire. So a lot of people was reporting that their houses was catching on fire from the inside out. So we already knowing about this microwave weapon that they have, also this direct energy weapon, So, we're going to leave it at that. You got to look it up. Look up these manipulating HAARP, look up DARPA, look up DEWS, dudes. Look up those things, you'll find out, So we already knowing that America is under attack. Also we knowing about what happened in New Orleans. A lot of these things are constantly picking up. Extraordinary events, and these things going to constantly pick up. They're going to constantly increase because we knowing that we're right upon what? Judgment and massive death, the beginning of sorrow. So a lot of these things constantly picking up, extraordinary events. So that's exactly what we're seeing. These prophecies are constantly speaking left and right. So before we start today's video, let's get a quick precept. Let's go here to Psalm chapter 49. Psalm chapter 49 and verse 11 says, their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue for forever, and their dwelling place to all generations. They call their lands after their own name. So we seeing right there when Donald Trump was talking about renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. So this is spot on. It's talking about the wicked. You know what I'm saying? The earth was given into the hands of the wicked only for a short season. So, one thing about it, he has a short run. And one thing about it, he's seeing that his days is determined. So one thing about it, he's constantly trying to scratch and fight for that control that he used to have, that dominance all over the world. Just like I said in Jeremiah chapter, I think 50 or 51, whereby it said, in the Lord's hand is that golden cup, you know what I'm saying, which in fact is America, which in fact America is constantly on the decline. Now he's seeing that, that when he gets into office, he's trying to take over really basically the world, you know what I'm saying, and beyond, but he's imagined a vain thing. So let's read this once again. It says, Psalm chapter 49 and verse 11 says, their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their land after their own name. So, we already know that what America was named after, I think was Italian. I think his name was I can't think his name, Amerigo, Visto Amerigo, if I'm not mistaken. And we knowing that right now that this is spot on talking about this man, the man of perdition, the man of sin. So right now we seeing that he's getting ready to try to get that advantage. He's trying to bring it forth. So, trying to get more territory, trying to get that plan into place. We already knowing that right now, his hand will not be able to perform his enterprise. So let's get this right quick. We're seeing that what the heathens are raging, man. They're constantly imagining a vain thing. The most proud, Esau, Edom. The Lord's getting ready to bring him down in a blaze of glory. It said, Psalm chapter 2 and verse 1 said, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? You know what I'm saying? So that's exactly what he's imagining, a vain thing, something that is not profitable, something that is very useless to him. We already know that we're in this transition of power. Esau is the end of this earth age, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. Nothing he can do about it. He's speaking very great words, saying he's going to do this, he's going to do that. But basically, telling you the truth, he basically is speeding up prophecy through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So we seeing that Donald Trump is going to get it popping. That's what we're constantly, you know what I'm saying? That's what we're constantly longing for, the downfall of America. We already know that, through much tribulation, we shall enter the kingdom of heaven. This place got to be totally destroyed through much bloodshed, through much violence. The kingdom of heaven is fast approaching. We seeing that we right here. We seeing that these prophecies speaking loud and clear. Let's read this once again in the NLT. Said, why are the nations are so angry? So why do they waste their time with futile plans? So one thing about it, they're wasting their time. And one thing about it, the only plan that's getting ready to come into play, that new world order, is the kingdom of heaven that dwells in righteousness. Also, the second coming of our Lord and Savior and our great deliverer, Yahushua HaMashiach, is getting ready to return and set everything back into order. So now, let's get a few of these videos. So we already knowing right now, this man is constantly putting things into place before he get into office. If he gets into office, if he don't be honor, so we are very close. So now let's start here with this first one. Also, something else I want to bring out is that it's a hair trigger about Iran in Israel. That right there, we keeping our eyes on that. At least of the flock should draw them out. And I'm thinking that they were warning Israel that not to hit their nuclear facilities in Iran. So I think it was, so they going back and forth with these threats, but we're constantly watching, so we being a watchman for Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. And also, we keeping our eyes on on Israel. The least of the flock shall draw them out. So that's where we at right now. Things are getting ready to get popping. We seeing that 2025 is bringing it, bringing everything to what? Full tuition. We seeing it's happening, left and right. So we already knowing right now that this devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. So now, we'll start today's video, and then after the video, we'll start the lesson, and I hope that you will get edified. One moment.
Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force. Because Canada and the United States That would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like. And it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. I love the Canadian people. They're great. But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it. We lose in trade deficits. We're losing massive. We don't need their cars. You know, they make 20% of our cars. We don't need that. I'd rather make them in Detroit. We don't need their lumber. We have massive fields of lumber. We don't need anything. So why are we losing $200 billion a year and more to protect Canada? And I said that to, as I called him, Governor Trudeau. I said, listen, what would happen if we didn't subsidize you? They should be a state. That's why I told Trudeau when he came down. I said, what would happen if we didn't do it? He said Canada would dissolve. Canada wouldn't be able to function if we didn't take their 20% of our car market. We don't need their cars, and we don't need the other products. We don't need their milk. We got a lot of milk. So I said to him, well, why are we doing it? He said, I don't really know. He was unable to answer the question, but I can answer it. We're doing it because of habit, and we're doing it because we like our neighbors, and we've been good neighbors, but we can't do it forever.
As the country saw this morning, the Prime Minister has said that he was going to step down as Prime Minister. But that doesn't mean he's no longer Prime Minister for the next month or 2 months. We need the Prime Minister to focus 100% on the U.S. tariffs. We have 14 days left before elect President Trump gets inaugurated, and we need to focus to make sure these tariffs don't move forward, and if they do move forward, we need to make sure that the federal government has a strong plan. The Prime Minister said he'd sit down with all the premiers, face-to-face meeting. I still want to hold him to that promise. He still will be Prime Minister for a month, maybe 2 months, but that has to be his number one focus.
Mexico's really in trouble, a lot of trouble. Very dangerous place. And we're going to be announcing a future date pretty soon. We're going to change, because we do most of the work there and it's ours. We're going to be changing, sort of the opposite of Biden, where he's closing everything up, essentially getting rid of $50 to $60 trillion worth of assets. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name.
Are the Trumps really trying to buy Greenland? The president-elect says his son, Don Jr., has flown to the Arctic island to visit some of the most magnificent areas and sites. Donald Trump also said that the people in Greenland will benefit tremendously if and when it becomes part of our nation, adding, "Make Greenland great again." Don Jr. said in his podcast on Monday that he was going on a personal day trip and he was not buying Greenland. However, during Trump's first term as president, he did express an interest in buying the territory. And in December, he posted that the US feels that the ownership and control of Greenland is an absolute necessity. Greenland's Prime Minister has responded to Trump's desire to buy the island, saying we are not for sale. So what's the deal with Greenland, and why is it so important? Greenland is the world's largest island. It lies on the shortest route from North America to Europe. This makes it important for trade and security. It also has an attractive supply of oil, gas, and rare earth minerals. Greenland is formally part of the Kingdom of Denmark, as it has been since 1953, although it makes its own laws and enforces them. Greenland's Prime Minister has pushed for full independence. During his New Year's speech, he said the island must break free from the shackles of colonialism. Denmark's king has recently changed his country's royal coat of arms. It now features a polar bear and a ram more prominently, which represent Greenland and the Faroe Islands. Denmark has also upped its defense spending for the territory since Trump's remarks.
So what does Greenland have? It doesn't have much people, 57,000. It doesn't have an awful lot of plants, but what it does have buried underneath that ice, according to the U.S. Geological Survey, is a lot of oil, billions of barrels of oil, and trillions of cubic feet of natural gas, and even more important, it has rare earth elements that are needed for things in telecommunications, like your cell phones. Right now, we get much of that from China. Greenland has ice, Lots and lots of ice. A ridiculous amount of ice, one climate scientist told me. How much ice? It has more than 2,500 trillion tons of ice. It's losing more than 200, 300 tons of ice each year as it melts. And it's melting faster almost every year. And what happens is that's bad news for the rest of the planet. And even though you don't realize it, Greenland is determining your future climate, and your current weather.
This shit just got real. So y'all all know that Mr. Donald Trump was in Canada and he was having a dinner with the Canadian president, Trudeau. So apparently, some of the people that was sitting at that table overheard what Trudeau asked Donald Trump. I'm gonna let y'all hear the audio, but from what I heard, this is how it went. Trudeau was like, you putting a lot of pressure on us Canadians with them tariffs. You know, I don't think I got enough funds to do this, or I don't think I got the mentality to do this. Donald Trump was like, if you can't handle the pressure, if you think it's too much, you can always become our 51st state, and you can be the governor of the state.
And tonight we're getting some new details about that Trump-Trudeau dinner from two people who were at the table. We are told that when Trudeau told President-elect Trump that new tariffs would kill the Canadian economy, Trump joked to him that if Canada can't survive without ripping off the U.S. to the tune of $100 billion a year, then maybe Canada should become the 51st state and Trudeau could become its governor. Right.
But more on that.
So we see it right now. The heathens are raging. Also, you know, we already know that it's inward thought that he shall rule forever. But also we knowing that this is going to cause a lot of major problems between our neighboring country, you know, Mexico, Canada, also Greenland, and also now EU and NATO, they're stepping in, telling him not to do it. Also, he's talking about Panama Canal. So this thing is getting ready. Hey, man, get ready to what? To get real. So now we start today's lesson, bring out a free precept. And once again, I hope that you will get edified. Let's go here to Habakkuk. We start here at Habakkuk chapter 2. Habakkuk chapter 2, and we'll start up at around verse 5. Habakkuk chapter 2, we'll start up at verse 5. And it reads, say, ye also, because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, said neither keeper at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gathers unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. You know, this what this NWO. So we seeing right now that proud man. We seeing right now Donald Trump is speaking very smoothly, very, you know, confidently, that, you know, that hey, this has got a good ring to it, you know, trying to rename things, trying to take these countries and make them a part of the American territory. And when they about death and hell follow him everywhere he go. So all he wants to do is get people's resources, also put their influence, their philosophy, their a democracy, you know, upon them, you know what I'm saying? So every nation have followed the whore, have fornicated with the whore. So this man is very proud. This man, what's called the nation police, going in other people's countries, you know, robbing, stealing, and killing, you know, and constantly, you know what I'm saying, heaping to himself all peoples, you know. And right now we already know that he's what he's trying to pull off, this new world order. So one thing about it, he's imagining a vain thing. Verse 6 said, it's verse 6, Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 6 says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that it increases that which is not his? How long to him that laden himself with thick clay or tremendous debt? So we already know that America is in, I think, about 33, 34, I can't hardly keep up with, trillion dollars of debt. And one thing about it, we already know that they're not going to pay it. He's going to go to what he knows best is that sword, you know what I'm saying? War, you know what I'm saying? Shedding innocent blood, robbing, stealing, and killing. And out the Bible says here, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb? And we already know that the prophet, we're constantly we're speaking out against him. We're constantly, telling him that he's getting ready to go down, you know what I'm saying? We constantly, in highways and byways, constantly making Esau bear, constantly exposing him through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema, this word, you know what I'm saying? And we already seeing right now, that this man is getting ready to go down, and out of his body, we seeing that now he's getting ready to show up and show out the devil that the Bible speaks about. When he do, the Lord is going to show up and show out also. Let's read this once again in the NLT. In the NLT, it says, "But soon their captives will taunt them. They will mock them, saying, 'What sorrow awaits you, you thieves?' Said, now you will get what you deserve." Exactly right. Say, you become rich by extortion. Said, but how much longer can this go on? Not much longer, because the Lord is getting ready to cut him off. All these nations is getting ready to come up against Babylon the Great, the whore that sits on many waters. They shall burn the whore. We're very close to this time, and out about we're constantly chanting this place down. DTA, Abba. How long, oh Lord? We are ready to get out of this nightmare. That's why the Lord said, "This is not your rest." Come up under that. Come off under this heathen mindset and come back under that total subjection to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. He's the only way. He is the only answer. Verse 7 said, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booty unto them. And out about it, hey, you spoil many nations. You get ready to get that payback. Verse 8, here's the point. It said, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. So one thing about it, because you have spoiled many nations, you also shall be spoiled. And out about it, shedding innocent blood, constantly causing all this different atrocities all across, putting your philosophy, your democracy, that do thy will spare, all sorts of sexual immorality, all sorts of things that is very displeasing to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to put this nightmare to an end. The Lord's eyes is upon the sinful kingdom. We're already seeing that UFO sites are all across the world at any given time. We know that we're in 2025. We're seeing already now this day 9. I think January the 9th, if I'm not mistaken, or the 10th. And it's just not getting started. The Lord just not getting started. The Lord is getting ready to make it happen, man. We're here. So now let's go here to Revelation. So this is exactly what's getting ready to happen here. I'm talking about trying to all these land grabs and stuff. Man, this man here he's got to go. The long disease, which if I get sin and Esau eat them, they got to get the hell up out of here. We cannot wait for this nightmare to be over. Let's go here to Revelation chapter 17 and verse 15, and we'll probably get one more and we'll close out. Revelation chapter 17, and we'll start up at verse 15. Just kind of back up what I just said. It says here, then the angel said to me, the waters where the prostitute is ruling represent masses of people of every nation and language. That was in the NLT first, but we already know who is that prostitute, who is that great whore, America. And those waters goes into what? People. So let's read it in the KJV version. It said, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So we already know, and we're seeing right now that America have it's what's called the nation melting pot. And one thing about it, he's constantly trying to gather all nations to himself. Greenland, Canada, basically go ahead and say Mexico. Pretty much he had all these different military bases and all these different countries. The nation police, what we're seeing right now, that these nations are fed up with the whore. They're constantly tired of America, going in, being the nation bully, going in there, killing their leaders, setting up their own puppet government. These people are sick and tired of it. And also Russia is tired of America. America is constantly poking the bear. And one thing about this big bully, this great prostitute, which in fact is America, that whore that sits on men of war, is getting ready to go down with a blaze of glory. So let's read in Revelation chapter 7 and verse 16. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire, that thermonuclear fire, the ICBM missiles, and those 10 horns going into the EU and NATO. So one thing about it, we already know that we are very close to all hell breaking loose. And one thing about it, that any given time, things could go nuclear. That's why we keeping our eyes on Israel. The least of the flock shall draw them out. We already know right now, 2025 could be our great deliverance. Our salvation is at the door. Verse 17 and 17, Revelation chapter 17 and verse 17. So like I had to highlight it right quick. It said, for the Almighty has put in their hearts, or their mind, to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Almighty shall be fulfilled. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So we're very close to this time. This man is getting ready to bring forth this new system, this new society, this new a way of doing things. Imagine this vain thing. The heathens are raging, but we know that the times of the Gentiles are almost fulfilled. We know that he's getting ready to come with this new world order, one world currency, one world government, and one world religion. But one thing about it, we already knowing that he's getting ready to be cut off forever. Slavery is coming back in a big way. So it's no matter what Donald Trump is trying to do. He's only speeding up prophecy. He's only speeding up the great and glorious return of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And also he's only speeding up our salvation is closer, is nearer than we yet believe. We are very excited. So we want these devils to keep pushing, keep doing what they're doing, because they're only speeding up prophecies, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Sorry about the rambling. Let's go here to our last and final script. Let's go here to Job chapter 20. Job chapter 20, and we'll start up around verse 22. Let's get this right quick. Let's start up here at verse 22. Job chapter 20 and verse 22. And it reads that in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. So right now we know that, he's in the fullness of his rulership, what else trying to say? He's in the fullness of his, what I'm trying to say here. I lost my train of thought, but anyway, we know right now he's right at the end of his rulership. And one thing about it, he's constantly trying to stand to rulership, you know what I'm saying? But the every hand of the wicked, when it says straits, that's going to be levels of adversity, levels of troubles. You know what I'm saying? Anguish and sorrow is getting ready to come upon them. And the hand of the wicked goes into the people that was at the allies with him. Like right now, Canada is slowly becoming their enemy. Mexico is slowly becoming the enemy. Also, these other NATO countries is slowly becoming America's enemy. Also, around the world, pretty much all these nations get ready to turn upon Babylon the Great. He shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Verse 23 said, when he is about to fill his belly, the Almighty shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So right now, we already know that the devil is getting ready to fill his belly. You know what I'm saying? Right now, his agenda, his plan. We already know what that plan is, the NWO, total control, total dictatorship, what that MOTB, all these things are coming into play. But the Lord said right when he's getting ready to set it up. So we're seeing that Donald Trump is getting ready to get inaugurated. We're going to measure the time diligently, so when he get in office, he's going to try to fill that agenda, that plan. And one thing about it, but while he's trying to set this up, the Lord is going to going to rain it upon him while he is eating those what? IBCM missiles. The indignation of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, that thermonuclear fire is getting ready to burn this red devil up. So we cannot wait. The Lord is getting ready to do it. Let's read it in the NLT. It said, may God give them a belly full of trouble. May Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua rain down his anger upon them. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. Let's read it all the way down. It said, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. Talking about those IBCM missiles, man. One thing about it, man, he cannot run, he cannot hide. The Lord's getting ready to man, to get ready to totally destroy this place. But we're here, man. We're living in some very serious time. It's time to seek the Lord. Verse 25 say, it is drawn. Let's get some of these highlights, Salakia. It's just read better when it's highlighted. Let's get a few of them, Salakia, for that. But we're seeing right now that this man is getting ready to try to pull off something that's very unimaginable, you know. And one thing about it, that we seeing that Donald Trump, we know he's the right one. You know what I'm saying? We seeing right now that these things are picking up. So let's read this once again. Job chapter 20 and verse 25 said, it is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terror upon him. So this is describing a IBCM missile coming out of those silos. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, you know, and also that these IBCM missiles in the Bible also is known as arrows. So these arrows are getting ready to fly, coming out of those silos. They're getting ready to be shot to the ends of the world. And one thing about it, and they shall not miss their mark. Verse 26, it says, all darkness shall be hid in his secret places. It said, a fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. So one thing about it, the tables are going to turn. And one thing about it, you know, we already know that he's in for a rude awakening. Verse 27 said, the heavens shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. So that's exactly what we're seeing right now. You know, these nations all across the world is constantly rising up against Esau, Edom, and also what Babylon the Great, America, and also against what Israel, because the Lord is constantly what? Putting the chess pieces in places, putting things into place. We read upon judgment. We read upon recompense, death and destruction. It's right before that transition of power is taking place. Let's read this once again. It said, the heavens shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. Exactly what we're seeing, man. Man, we are here, man. We are so very excited. Verse 28, the increase of his house shall depart, and his good shall flow away in the day of his wrath. So one thing about it, we already know that we're in that transition of power. And we already know how he received all his riches, all his wrath through what? All sorts of lying and deceits, all sorts of what? Thievery, you know what I'm saying? What? Killing, stealing, murdering. So, you know, when you go to Sirach chapter 10 and verse 8, it says, because of unrighteous dealing, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So that's exactly what's getting ready to happen. We're seeing that transition of power is happening right before our eyes. So let's read this once again. It said, the increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. That's exactly what's getting to happen. The Lord's getting ready to make Esau bare. And one thing, the Lord's getting ready to strip this devil and put him back in his first estate, which in fact is the original caveman. He's only a slave. He's only a mere man and not Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. He's in for a rude awakening. Verse 29, this is the portion of a wicked man from Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, and the heritage appointed unto him by Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. So one thing about it, the Lord's getting ready to give him his reward very soon, slavery. And after slavery, he will be totally eradicated. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, we already know right now, these prophecies are speaking loud and clear. We're seeing right now, we're in that transition of power. We're seeing that our salvation is very close at hand. We knowing that he's getting ready to implement that MOTB. We knowing that we're coming upon these times. And one thing about it, your faith is getting ready to be tried. You're getting ready to go through a time of trouble that you have never seen before. But by we trust and believe in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, he will protect us in those times of trouble. So the title of today's lesson Once again, it's news and prophecies, extraordinary events. I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.